On January 14th, I published a video talking about the federal Canadian iZEV tax credit, saying that the funds had been fully committed. In that video, I said that it was a very strange coincidence that just a couple days before, on the 10th of January, $71 million Canadian, or approximately 14,000 fully electric vehicles worth of tax credits, were still available at the time that the government said that they were going to eventually pause the program. Fast forward 3 days, and the program was officially paused. Now, I had said at the time that it was highly unlikely that 14,000 units could have been sold over the course of 3 days. However, it appears Tesla Canada, at 4 stores across the country, did more than half of that. On March 5th, the Toronto Star reported that Tesla Canada claimed approximately 8,600 sales in one weekend using up $43 million of iZEV funds. CTV News also started an investigation, and neither outlet received a reply to their requests from Tesla to explain these numbers. Now, the iZEV program rules require dealerships to submit an eligibility assessment before delivery and is only valid for 90 days once verified. Now, this spreadsheet, which is available to anybody by going to the Transport Canada website, shows an abnormal number of Tesla vehicles sold released in December and January in massive batches, with January being almost exclusively Tesla rounding out the program. It's extremely improbable that Tesla could have sold 8,600 units over the course of a weekend, or delivered that many for that fact. Now, from that same data, I've parsed through, Tesla sold approximately 44,000 units in Canada from April 2024 to January 2025, which means that in that one weekend, they sold 25% of their year's vehicles in 3 days. Tell me how that makes sense. Now, as of this point, Transport Canada says they're going to start looking into it, which they absolutely should, because there's no reason that I can come up with, no logical, explainable reason why any dealership would wait any time to put their tax credits through. If these vehicles were genuinely sold and there was just a mad rush of people coming to buy these vehicles, fine, but it's really, really unlikely. So did Tesla fake the numbers? Are these sold to cats and dogs and dead people or employees or whoever it may be, friends and family? Any way that they could have gotten these tax credits before it ran out? I really do hope we find out. I hope that CTV News or the Toronto Star are able to get these answers. I hope Transport Canada is able to ask these questions as well, because as we talked about back in January when I published this video, many people had gone out to purchase a regular electric or plug-in hybrid vehicle, and they are sorely missed out of that $5,000 credit because the program ended during the time that they put the paperwork together and before they could pick it up. So if fraud has been committed, something absolutely has to be done about it. Now, this segues perfectly into the next segment of what we wanted to talk about. Should you still buy a Tesla in 2025? Now, here at PRN, we have been extremely careful over the years, over 15 years of journalism, to never get political. And it's true. If you're any sort of company, becoming political, it's not good for you. You're always going to alienate half of the people that you're going to be putting your videos or content out to. So we always try to remain completely neutral. But in this case, we have to bring it up because Tesla, unfortunately, is now in its own mess of political turmoil, because the CEO, the owner, the guy who's in charge, Mr. Elon Musk, has made a very bold statement of which side of the political spectrum he sits on. This has caused a lot of people, both in Canada and the US, to protest against Tesla, because Elon Musk really is the face of Tesla. So if you don't like him, you're not going to like Tesla. Dealerships have been vandalized, vehicles have been burned down, and even the US president has now said that if you do something against a Tesla dealership, it is a terrorist act. Now, here's where I stand on the fact. If you are a consumer that has bought a Tesla, chances are, unless you've put SpaceX stickers on the back of your vehicle, you just bought a relatively cheap, not very well built electric vehicle because you wanted something cheap to get around. There's nothing wrong with that. So my whole thing here, folks, is if you really don't like Tesla, you don't like Elon Musk, don't go and vandalize other people's cars, okay? Maybe they don't want to have the car either anymore. A lot of people over the last little while have been dumping their Tesla vehicles, selling them, trading them in, getting rid of them. But some people are stuck. Maybe they're drowning in their payments right now. They brought in a vehicle that wasn't worth as much as it wasn't on trade, and now they're underwater with their payments, so they're pretty much stuck with their vehicle. So if you have something against Tesla or Elon Musk, it doesn't hurt Tesla or Elon Musk to vandalize a private citizen's vehicle. Somebody who now has to get that vehicle repaired. Maybe they can't afford it. Their insurance is going to go up. So try to not do that to people. But should you buy a Tesla today? Because whether you stand on the side of Elon Musk or not, the fact is that the decisions that he's made and the things that he's done recently have negatively affected the brand. Not only the Tesla stock has gone down quite a bit, but also people just don't seem to want to drive their vehicles if they don't support him. So there's vehicles being put into the used car market now. They're flooding the used car market with used Teslas that have been traded in for other types of electric vehicles. And buying a new one, especially here in Canada, just doesn't seem to make as much sense anymore. I think there's been a pretty big pause on people who want to buy a Tesla vehicle because of what's going on. So at this point, I can see that the used car price will continue to go down. They've already been pretty cheap already, but it doesn't seem like a smart move to buy one in today's climate. Because of what I just said, your car could get vandalized. The price of it's going to continue to go down. And something that I have always been against really since the beginning of the announcements back in 2023 when all the major automotive brands said that they were going to be switching to the North American charging standard, NACS, which is the Tesla charger. I said this is a bad idea because of Elon Musk and his temper to just make changes to a network that's going to affect millions of people. So now that all of these brands are committed to going onto the Tesla supercharger network, what happens if he decides to turn it off because he no longer likes Canada or no longer likes the Ford you're driving? It's something that I have said since day one. So there's a lot of good options on the market. We have talked and reviewed many electric vehicles over the years that we've been doing Test Drive. So in my personal opinion, I think, and who have always thought, that there are much better options to Teslas out there, whether it's a consumer vehicle or a luxury brand. If you're currently driving a Tesla, well, good luck to you. Honestly, I don't think I would be driving one out of the fear of it being vandalized for no other fact other than I happen to drive a car that people don't seem to like right now. I would try to get rid of it as quickly as I could. The same way if all of a sudden people started to hate on Mercedes-Benz for the things that they did in the past. But we're not at that point yet, so I'll keep my S-Class. So I don't think you should buy a Tesla today. I think the cars are going to continue to go down in value. I think they're going to have trouble selling their vehicles regardless of whatever happens politically speaking south of the border. And I think that really at this point, there are much, much better electric vehicles on the market that won't cause you to be looked at and potentially be vandalized as you're driving around. Now, as this is an opinion piece, we do appreciate your opinion too. So we would like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on what happened with the iZEV program? As I said, I was really one of the first people to put out a video to talk about how there was suspicious numbers going around. So I like to think that, even though I couldn't find out the results of it, I knew there was something fishy at the beginning. And also, what do you think about buying either a new or used Tesla today? This is, middle of March 2025, so obviously that could change in the next little while. Who knows? But we always get back to you in the comments. Whatever your thoughts are, let us know. We appreciate you watching. We have our merch store. You can check out some of the stuff that we've got there. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like the content that you see here. Until next time, thanks for watching, and take care.
Bye.